Well, the United States. Let's talk about United States first,
Yeah.
and then in general. Yep.
Well, I think America is in a crisis that we have had before, but a lot of people don't know about. So right now, history, historical facts is what people should focus on right now. Rachel Maddow has a show called Ultra, and she talks about these court cases and subversion of our democracy in the 40s and the 50s that was done by senators and congressmen that when they went into Nazi Germany, they found out that they were being paid by the Nazis to disrupt our democracy and break us apart from each other. And I'm seeing that I've already seen it and I already believe it. But when we look at the history of this happening before, we come to the terms with, okay, this is happening again, and how are we going to deal with it? What's more important right now? Is more important the ideas and policies in which, the right is presenting, or the fact that if you believe in those policies and you think, the right is the one that's going to bring them, are you willing to sell your democracy and your freedom? And what's it going to look like after they become president? And I'm not saying the right in general. I'm saying the Trump right, because Trump is whole different animal. I think all politicians are trash. I think they're all liars and thieves. They steal, they lie, and they give us some, but they never disrupt in completion our total freedoms. And I think that we have a lot of real freedoms that are on the line right now that are more important than the reason why you would vote for Kamala or not vote. I think that if you like democracy and you want to continue to try to make things work, that even if you don't like the policies at all of the left, this would be a time when you would jump ship, vote for the left, get rid of the ideology of Trump and his racistness and all that stuff, and let the younger blood of Republicans come in and replace and put some respect back in the Republican Party, and then have some real debates with some real conversations in the future for our next presidents if we don't like the ones that we're about to get. But I mean, I can't vote, but if I would have voted, I would have voted for Joe Biden as he, passes out in the middle of a speech. I still would have voted for him because
Really?
I know that he is not going to change the fundamental freedoms in this country. He's not going to turn the Supreme Court into a place that provides, a saving place for a king, because the Supreme Court just passed their rules that basically said presidents can do whatever they want and not be held responsible as long as it's done in official capacity. That is horrific. Our country was based on getting rid of a king, and our Supreme Court just basically made any president a king, including Biden today, could do whatever he wants and get away with it.
So that thing have already been in place for a long time, since a long time, right?
No,
Because
just recently it was the Supreme Court just decided that a president cannot be held liable for anything he's doing when he's in office and even after, because it's considered an official act. So the president Biden could right now if he wanted to, but this wasn't done for Biden. This was done for Trump because it was against Trump, fighting for his freedom, because he's made some mistakes, and the Supreme Court was placed there by Trump, and they basically said presidents can do whatever they want. That means the president can interrupt an election, assassinate the person that he doesn't want to go against. It's identical to Russia. We're setting Trump up to be identical to Putin in regards to no matter what he does, he can't be convicted and nobody can do nothing. And then he can take apart the people that are trying to convict him. Right. He can shut down anything he wants. And that's a scary, scary thing, because anybody that voted for Putin, years ago, when they realized it was a bad thing, it's too late.
it's too late, because I mean he have been a president for a very long time.
Too late. Anybody that says, I thought you were going to pass it over, we voted for you to take control, I thought you were going to pass it over. Since then, you've changed all the Constitution. You've changed everything to be so that no matter what you do, you don't get in trouble. And even when somebody runs against you, when you assassinate them or charge them with something and put them in jail and they die in jail a week later, there's no recourse.
Why do you think like this these presidents do this, like in most cases? Like, is it because just being selfish itself, or they do it because they're they're being controlled by other people to do it.
I think that's been, if you look at the history of, communists, socialist countries that don't like us, like Russia and, China, but especially Russia. Russia has been using what's called compromise, which is they go full force on everybody in our government, trying to get them in compromising positions so that they can control them. And sometimes they don't even know the reason why. Like, they'll tell them, hey, you need to vote yes on this. And they don't even know why. But if they don't, they're messing around with kids or cheating on their wives or taking funds on the low, comes out and their entire life's ruined. I think that from the get-go, Trump is an easy target. He's an easy target. And I firmly believe that they've had something on him for quite a long time. And that even if they didn't, if we took that away and said, okay, that's just a conspiracy, there's no proof in that. The
Right.
bottom line is Trump's behavior has put him in a position of going to jail for his behavior. He's fighting for his life right now.
Yeah, I mean, how many conviction? 35.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, his behavior was traitorous to try to stop the election just for stopping the election's sake because he didn't win. That is a traitorous thing to do.
Right.
And he's paying for it with the judicial system. But our judicial system is not built to withstand other countries coming in and getting involved in our politics. We have laws for everything else, but there's really nothing we can do when our own politicians get involved and get so deep into the mix that they do things like fire prosecutors, prosecuting somebody for something that they did against the United States. We don't really have much recourse besides the Supreme Court. And once the Supreme Court is tainted, then we don't have anything. All we have left then is the public making a decision. Do we want to go this way or that way?
Right.
So all these policies, immigration, and all these things people are saying, and healthcare, and I agree, a ton of things need to change. And, they sway left and right, and sometimes way left and way right. Sometimes they get better, sometimes they get worse. But right now, all that to me is dead. We have one issue. Do we want to become like Russia, or do we want to still be the free-thinking United States? If we go one way, it's the end.
Yeah, that's where also I kind of like, because sometimes when Biden was running against against Trump, the reason why sometimes I would be like, I'd rather have Trump because of the health thing, I would look at okay, is this person, because they were just the two people. I'm like, would this person be able to run? I know Biden, he stands for this, but I feel like Trump is stronger than him in terms of certain things like health issues and so on. Then I was like, okay, now Kamala Harris came into play, and Kamala Harris is also, they both giving me red flags. I'm not gonna lie, because Kamala Harris, I followed her history. Before, she will always say she was a Native American woman.
Yeah.
And just being black in America. Seeing her past videos, like she will go to meetings and so on. She say, I'm a Native American woman, this and that. If you look through her past pictures and so on, she have always carried her Native Americans culture,
Yeah.
So now that she's becoming the running mate, she's becoming she's running for president, she's running against Trump, she's identifying herself as a black woman.
Yeah.
That's one red flag for me. It's like, is she really, that's why you said politics really come with so much colors and so on.
And they're all full of shit.
Yeah.
And I think she sanitized it. But she was doing an interview with somebody that was Indian, the same as she was. And when she was referencing, to the lady, you look like half of my family. She was basically saying half of my family's Indian, the other half. But what she never did was really identify with the Jamaican side. So what I've noticed is exactly what you're saying. Like, she's always made comment about her Indian side. She's made reference that she's half Indian. But that's like me being like, I'm half Italian, I'm half Italian, I'm half Italian, I'm half Italian. And all of a sudden I run for president. I'm like, I'm half Italian and half black. And everybody be like, you're black? Like, yeah, there's a picture of my dad. He's black. I'm like, oh, damn, you're really white for a black guy. I'm like, yeah, but I'm black now. Like, why'd you never mention that before?
That's a red flag right there.
Yeah, no. Hey, listen, they all get red flags. They're all,
Right.
listen, they're politicians. They tell you what you want to hear.